Some women try to antagonize and provoke other women simply because they are not you. When a woman is somehow jealous or feels insecure in your presence, she will try to antagonize you and provoke you to come out of character. Women who are miserable in general and don't like other women may feel jealous, may feel insecure, may feel envious. They will always try to provoke the nice girl into wrath. They will always try to antagonize the nice woman to bring out the worst in her. Jealous, envious, and or miserable people, their goal is to get you out of character as a woman. They want you to get into the trenches, get into the gutter with them. And if you are not careful, you will let them succeed. See, miserable, jealous, insecure women and men alike, when they see a woman doing too well, when they see you carrying yourself with class, decorum, you might be in a professional environment, so you're very professional, very classy. You like to dot your I's and cross your T's. That's doing a little bit too much for a jealous, insecure, and or miserable person. So they will serve as an antagonist in your life to try to get you out of character. Those type of people have very demonic, in my opinion, the way I believe, spirits. And the way they operate is to go about being little busybodies, trying to get under your skin any chance they get. And the reason being is because they are not you. Because they don't carry themselves in the same way that you do. Because they do not get the same response from people that you do. And that absolutely makes them feel horrified. That absolutely rubs them the wrong way. That absolutely makes them feel like they are nothing in your presence. So they have to do something to bring you down to their level. Jealous, miserable people, people who antagonize and provoke decent people, people who are minding their business, being unbothered and staying in their own lane, people who are jealous and miserable, people who are toxic, people who don't know how to act, who don't know how to have class, they get very triggered, especially women against women, women being jealous of other women. They get very triggered by a woman who is unbothered. And that's why I always talk about on this channel being an unbothered woman. Because when you're unbothered, you can recognize these little petty games that other women play and stay away from it and not allow them to get you out of character. What does getting you out of character do for a jealous woman who likes to antagonize and provoke you to wrath? Number one, it shows her that you are no better than her and thus making her feel good about herself. See, miserable people, misery, as they say, truly does love company. So if a woman is able to use her nasty attitude, her nasty tricks to get you to come down to her level and start maybe yelling, start maybe acting crazy, start being nice, nasty, start doing little petty things, she now feels like she's succeeded in bringing you down to her level. Number one. The number two reason why a person, a jealous, miserable woman, would antagonize and provoke you to bring you out of character is to show other people that she's not as great as you all think she is. See, when you are getting attention from other people or getting compliments from other people or other people receive you well, a woman, and you'll often see these kind of things like in workplaces, in schools, anywhere where you have a bunch of women being in the same location, there's typically always at least one who serves as the antagonist in the group or in the environment. She is specifically placed there, in my opinion, by the devil to somehow trick you into coming out of your place. And that's what she wants you to do. She wants you to stoop so low and be so triggered by whatever it is that she's doing and saying that you come out of character and explode. And like many people say with those nice women, the quiet women, you sometimes don't want to poke the bear. And that is a true statement for a lot of women who are more reserved, more kind, more nice, unbothered. And it's because when you have that kind of mentality, when you have that attitude where you're not bothering anybody, but yet they're bothering you, when they come into your space, if you're not careful and you're not refined in your unbotheredhood, you very well can let a woman who likes to provoke and antagonize get underneath of your skin. And we all have dealt with or deal with women who get a kick out of provoking and antagonizing other women. And they often do it with like little condescending tones. You know, they set up little scenarios and situations to try to trap you into coming out of character in some way. But see, women like that who like to bait other women, who like to provoke other women to wrath, what they don't understand is that a lot of times women who are more classy, have more decorum, actually have common sense and wisdom, are almost always like 10 steps ahead of them, as in you already see what they're trying to do and it's not going to work. You treat women like that like the clowns they are. When they try to provoke you to wrath, provoke you to feel any kind of way to try to get under your skin, you cannot let it get to you. And I know some women are not in their femininity, so you still very much have that, I'm going to show her she can try it if she want to, this kind of thing. But I'm telling you, more than anything else, when you don't give that type of woman any time or attention, and her provocation, her antagonization does not work against you, she will often scurry off feeling defeated and move on to her next target. See, women like that only feel good when they can actually get you to give in to their antagonization, when they can get you to give in to the way they're trying to provoke you to get on their level. They don't care like if you even end up calling them out into the streets, wanting to do all these physical things, violence and all of that, which you don't do. But even if you did that, that would be a win for them, because it's showing once again that you're no better than them. And you have to leave lowbrow women exactly where they are, in the gutter, because that's where their mind is. Any woman who tries to bait another woman and bring her out of character just because believe it or not, you have some women who look at women who have a decent character, a decent personality, the way you carry yourself just in a decent way. You know, nobody's perfect, but you are not messy. Some women will be very triggered by the fact that you're not messy, and they will try to orchestrate circumstances to bring you out of character. And especially if you're in an environment like work where it's attached to your money, you often have women who will try to set up special circumstances where they know if something's attached to your money, you're going to get irritated, and they want to see, okay, watch. I bet you she's going to act like this now. Watch if you do this. Watch how she acts. All that little goody is going to go out the window. You have some women who are so mean and miserable, they actually operate that way. But when you're a woman who operates as if she has options, and you disregard that kind of behavior because it's very lowbrow, shallow, petty, childlike behavior, when you disregard that and move on, they end up looking stupid. And that's a win for you. So as a woman who is unbothered and very much 10 steps ahead of petty women, you have to be aware when a woman is trying to bait you, trying to provoke you, and trying to get you to somehow come out of character in some way. There are some women who just don't like seeing other women happy. They don't like seeing other women be level-headed. They don't like seeing other women being so chill. Like, they want you on edge and in fight mode at all times. And if you're not like that, they will try to do and say things so that you're in that rah-rah mode. It's very ghetto in nature, in my opinion. So when you're a woman who recognizes those kind of things, and that's not just for women, because you have some men too, where they are so stressed about every little thing, everything somebody does, everything somebody says absolutely bothers them, especially in the workplace. I don't know about you, but I cannot stand being around men who whine all the time like women. It's bad enough when women do it, but when you have a man who's constantly whining and complaining about something, my goodness, it can make you want to rip your hair out. And then they feel some kind of way when you aren't doing the same thing that they're doing. It's like some people really don't understand the idea of going to work to get a check, going to school to get an education, and coming home. Like, all of the additives you do not need. But when a woman, especially when a woman is, she has some kind of alt with you, she has an issue with you, she just doesn't like the way you carry yourself, it makes her feel some kind of way. No doubt, she will organize some kind of circumstance to try to get you out of your character. Do not fall for it. Women like that, because they feel like they don't have anything to lose, they will often help you lose everything. Meaning, let's say for this example, in the workplace, if she knows you're doing well at that job, you might be outperforming her in some way because you're getting more recognition, you're getting more opportunity, you're getting raises and things like that. She's going to go out of her way, especially if she's jealous of you. She's going to go out of her way to try to make it look like you don't deserve what you have because you're being fake. See, women who are jealous and insecure around other women and they try to antagonize and provoke you to be just as mean and nasty and sometimes unprofessional as them, their whole goal is to try to get you down to where they are. They want to sabotage your success, sabotage the things you're accomplishing, sabotage your overall reputation and the way people see you. And if they succeed at that, that is a win for them. And it's simply because a lot of times people don't see them in that same way. See, women who think like that, they don't realize if they worked on their own character, their own personal development, if they got with God the way I believe and got themselves together, they wouldn't have to resort to trying to provoke and manipulate and antagonize another woman in order to get themselves to feel good when another woman comes out of character. And I know this is very ghetto in nature, but you have some women who are like that. They only feel good when they see another woman destroying herself. And that's the reason why, in my opinion, a lot of the so-called sisterhood and the girl's girl thing is kind of non-existent at this point. And even though I very much am a girl's girl, because a lot of women have such a mean-spirited way about them, because a lot of women have a bad habit, a nasty habit of trying to bring the absolute worst out of other women, and you see it all the time. Some women don't even want to be friends with other women unless you're willing to do things that's going to put yourself in jeopardy, be it mentally or physically. If you're not willing to go out to the clubs and get pissy drunk, they don't want to hang out with you. If you're not willing to sleep around with a whole bunch of different people or, interfere in other people's relationships, they don't want to be bothered with you. If you're not willing to be disrespectful and somehow mess up the relationship you're already in, they don't want to be bothered with you. If you take your work and your home life too seriously and you're not willing to be for the streets, even though you're a married woman or you're a mother, they don't want to be bothered with you. A lot of women of today, and I know this might rub some people the wrong way, but I don't care. If you've been on this channel any moment of time, you already know I say some things that I know a lot of people are not going to agree with, but it is what it is. There are some women today that only want to befriend women who are willing to risk it all in order to have a relationship with her, in order to be a friend to her. And a lot of women want to be able to influence other women in a negative way in order to call them their friends. That's why you have to bear in mind the type of friends, the type of people. It's always, remember, quality over quantity, depending on where you are at your life. So when you're a teenager, when you're in your early 20s, you might be able to afford to be around people who are just shooting the breeze, always gossiping, always in some mess. But believe me, as you get older, once you get over the age of 25, and especially into your 30s, you're going to become a lot more selective about the kind of people you surround yourself with. And it's not that you think you're better than somebody else. It's just that you're mindful of the company that you keep, especially depending on where you are in your life. If you are trying to accomplish a lot of things, if you are trying to keep yourself grounded spiritually, if you are trying to keep your family intact, you do not want to be around people, men or women alike, who are going to drag you down. And you have some people who deliberately come into your life, I believe, to try to antagonize and provoke you to do everything wrong. There are some people that see you doing good in life, see you doing good at your job, see you doing good in your relationship, as motherhood, what have you, and they are strategically put there, I believe, to somehow drag you down. And if you're not careful, You will give right into the bait that they're setting up for you. You will give right into the trap that they are setting up for you. But if you're careful and you recognize it for what it is, they will fall into the trap and leave you alone. See, wicked people, jealous people, manipulative people, people who like to provoke other people to do the wrong things, to come out of character, they never succeed. But you have to be a wise woman and recognize it when you see it and don't give into it. Will you sometimes fall into a trap? We're all human. Do people get under your skin? Absolutely, we are all human. But when people, and this is where assessing your circle and your environment comes in play, you have to know the kind of people that you're around. Because if you're dealing with messy people who always have drama with somebody, it's only a matter of time before they have drama with you, before they try to start something with you. And if you're just lackadaisical, walking around acting like, oh, the sky is blue, the birds are chirping, and meanwhile, this woman is in your space trying to get under your skin, saying and doing little things to sabotage you, if you're not aware of it, she will succeed. So as confident, feminine, and wise women, you have to be mindful of when somebody's trying to provoke you and get you to come out of character, and stay 10 steps ahead of them and get away from them if you can. All right? Jealous women use humiliation and bullying in order to attack other women. That's why it's important that you know how to read a room and understand when you are around women who do not like you. Jealous women will use humiliation in order to make you feel like you don't belong. Women who like to use humiliation tactics, they will typically get a whole group of women together in order to gang up on you. And it's very subtle, it's very covert, and you will not even realize it until you're in that situation. As I have mentioned before about dear Shanquella Robinson, who lost her life due to being around people who she thought were her friends, and they turned out to be her biggest haters, her biggest enemies, her biggest jealous people in her life. People like that are very subtle, and they like to humiliate you and to bring you down when they perceive that you're a little too high up. People who are jealous and envious of you, they will always have receipts for something. Even if everything is going great in your life right now, jealous people, people who like to use humiliation against you, they will dig into your past, dig into a perceived flaw. They will look at something about you or find out something about you and use that as an opportunity to clown and humiliate you. People only do this because they're jealous. People only do this because they perceive you as some kind of threat. People only dig into your history and dig into your past when they feel like that you are superseding them in some way. And the biggest strategy they use is to get other people on board with their jealousy. You see this a lot in women groups because women, they really are, not all women, but many women, they can be very hostile. They can be bullies. Everybody knows that. A lot of women have a very bully mentality. And when they don't like someone, they will get other people to rally behind their hate. And that is how you end up with all these fake friend groups and women who are in these situations where now they're being harmed because of it. That's why you have to recognize when somebody is trying to set you up and they don't really care about you as a person. You have some women that will invite you to, they'll invite you to parties, to events, all so they can pick you apart and belittle you. They will invite you into places where they know you might not be familiar with the crowd, you might not be familiar with the territory. And if you are not a woman of wisdom, if you don't have that discernment and wisdom to realize when somebody is trying to bait you, you will fall into the trap of a jealous woman who seeks to humiliate you. Have you ever had somebody ask you a question about something and you just got the feeling that they really don't care about what you're saying? They just want to make fun of how you're speaking? I'll give you a real life story about myself. And it's not so much a story as it is just things that used to happen to me. People, especially women, they would make fun of how I speak because I speak more proper compared to the women that I was around. They spoke more so in slang and cursing and all of that. And I'll never forget, I was having a conversation with a few girls, and I had to be like maybe in my early 20s. And they said to me, "Why are you talking like you're in an interview? Why are you talking like that? Why are you talking like a white girl? Why do you sound like that?" And they would deliberately ask me things. And me, and a woman who is not jealous and petty, just a little sidebar, sometimes, especially if you're not there yet where you have that heightened discernment, that intuition, that wisdom, you won't even realize when a woman is trying to play in your face, when she's trying to just bait you and say little things in order to humiliate you or clown you in some way. You won't even realize it. It took me growing in wisdom and maturing as a woman in order to realize when I had women around me who really didn't like me, they wanted to use me for their entertainment. And as confident women, as you develop in your self-esteem and your self-love, you will realize that you are nobody's entertainment. But until you get to that point, sometimes you might be subjected to women who desire to be jealous and envious and want to clown you in some way, and you don't even realize it. So they would ask me questions about things knowing that I'm into the topic, but they would clown me because I'm into the topic. I was more of like a book nerd, a bookworm. I like those kind of things. And I know they didn't like those kind of things, but naive me thinking that they're really interested in what I'm talking about. And the whole time I find out they're just making fun of me. They're talking about me, pretty much I'm the geek among the group. And those kind of things don't stop, unfortunately, with women as you age. You would think it would, but it gets even deeper. As the subjects in life and the matters in life get deeper with women, so does the bullying and hatred among women, oftentimes. Some women might know that you were having issues in your relationship, maybe issues with your children, and they will be so nasty, so petty, so devious. A lot of women, their jealousy goes that deep. And somebody might be asking, well, if you had all of these negative things about you, why would they be jealous of that? If these bad things happen to you, why are they jealous of you? Why do you think they're jealous of you? Jealous women can sense a sweet and gentle spirit in another woman. A jealous woman, a chaotic woman, a woman with chaotic energy, a bully, she can sense when she's around a woman who is more kind, who is more gentle, who might not be on that radar of knowing when somebody is being a hater, being jealous. They can sense a sweet woman. They can sense a woman who is more feminine, more kind, and they play on her positive nature in order to bully and belittle and put her down. The things that you know are normal about yourself, such as your sweet personality, the way you speak, how eloquent you are, a jealous woman will use that against you and somehow turn that into a negative. And she will rally all of her troops behind her, her little hater group, her jealous woman group, to clown you. Now, as you grow as a woman, like I said, it becomes deeper than just your personality, because those kind of things are typically things that you see when you're in your 20s, late teens. But as you grow as a woman and you might have different life situations and women grab a hold of that, women who are jealous of you, they will look for every opportunity to air out your so-called dirty laundry. They will take the opportunity during family functions, during networking events, during, workplace activities to ask you about something that might not be the most, appropriate thing to say to you in the moment. But a woman who is a jealous woman, she will say something to you at the most unopportune. I don't even know if that is a word, but my mother used to say it, the opportune time. She will bring it up to you in front of your entire family. You're sitting with your parents, your aunties, your uncles. Your husband, he coming home at night now, right? He ain't hanging out with the girl no more, is he? Did you really think that was the time? This is the time to bring something like that up. Did you really think this is the time to talk to me about something I confided in you about? But jealous women are like that. And that's the reason why you must have wisdom and discernment. You must listen to your intuition to know when you are dealing with a woman who is jealous and envious of you, when you're dealing with a woman who is a bully in nature. You can tell you're dealing with a bully who wants to humiliate you because they're constantly bringing up your negative things. They're constantly bringing up your negative history. I saw a clip online of Pretty V, and I don't know who she was talking to. I forget the girl, but she had an incident on her floor. I mean, her stomach was upset. She had a little incident. Now, if something like that happened to her, that's very humiliating in itself. But she's human. Things happen. People get sick. This other young lady used that as an opportunity. She brought that up in front of a whole group of people. And she got highly upset about that, understandably so. But women who are jealous and envious and just kind of have that bully mentality, they do things like that. And a woman who is jealous and who's a bully and like to humiliate other women, they love to bring up your negative stories or your past history, might be negative past history, in front of men. They especially love to clown other women in front of men. When a woman is jealous of the attention that you get from men and how they perceive you in that moment, they want to sour that man's perception of you. So they might bring up history in front of somebody that they know are interested in you. They want to sabotage everything you do, and that's their whole goal of trying to humiliate you. They want to discredit you and ruin your credibility among other people. They don't want other people to perceive you in a good light. You might not have been the best mother your entire life. You might have struggled with motherhood. You might have dealt with postpartum depression, which a lot of women deal with. But you'll have a hater who'll come along and say something to the effect that, if you're dealing with mental health issues, maybe you shouldn't have kids. They'll say all these kind of things to try to discourage you instead of encourage you. Haters and bullies and people who seek to humiliate you, they do those kind of things. They are never on your team. I need you to understand that. When you are around women who are using you for their entertainment, who are clowning you on the regular, taking little shots at you about how you look, about how you dress, about how you speak, about the things you do, about the places you go, those people are not your friends. Those people are not people that you should be around. A woman who wants to use you for her entertainment, she is not your friend. When a woman wants to humiliate you, especially in front of other people, that woman is not somebody you want to be around. And women like that, a lot of times they'll never confront you personally on something they perceive as a flaw, an issue. If they have any kind of problem with you, they will never confront you personally or directly. They will wait for a time where it's a whole group of women around or a whole group of people, and that is when they want to so-called put you on the spot. Jealous women who seek to humiliate you are masters at knowing how to put other women on the spot. You have to remember, it's all about attack for them. They are very subtle, but sometimes they're very direct. And you, if you're not discerning, if you don't have that wisdom, you won't even see it coming. And another telltale sign that you're dealing with a woman who's using you for her entertainment and you don't want to give her your business, you don't want to be around her. And if she's the type of woman that likes to look into things, for me, I have a problem with women who always have the tea on somebody. Because if they always have the tea on somebody else, it's only a matter of time before they have the tea on you. Even if the tea is not that hot. I mean, sometimes women, they get so ridiculous, especially jealous women, women who are bullies and seek to humiliate. They get so ridiculous where they'll bring up something that is no big deal, but they'll try to spin it in a way to make you look as bad as possible. Believe it or not, women who deal with mental health issues, that is not a negative. It's a negative, but it's not something that's uncommon, and it's not something that cannot be fixed. But a woman who is like grasping at straws, meaning she's just trying to find something about you, she'll be like, everything okay? You still having anxiety? It's not that bad. Don't let these people. See, what she's trying to do is trying to make you think that you're so weak that you can't handle life. You have to realize when you're dealing with a woman who's trying to encourage you and when she's trying to subtly play on what she perceives as a weakness in you. That is not a woman you want to be around. And instead of trying to help you, back to the humiliation part, whatever you might be going through, that woman will use that as an opportunity to spread it to as many people as possible. And when you get in the situation where you're around those women and now it's like suddenly the spotlight's on you and they start asking you questions about different things, because jealous women, women who seek to humiliate, sometimes they have that kind of audacity. They have that kind of, ungodly boldness where they will ask you personal questions in order to get a reaction out of you and to make you look bad in some way. You do not have to answer a woman, and I need you to understand this. And it took me a while to learn this, but you can absolutely get comfortable with being silent when somebody asks you something stupid or inappropriate. If somebody asks you about something personal about your life, and I've had people do that to me multiple times, ask me something personal, especially seeing as though I have a child that's on the autism spectrum, I can't tell you how many ignorant things I have had to listen to. But I've had people ask me questions and I would just be quiet. It would be like they weren't even speaking, or I would start talking to somebody else, or I would walk away. It's perfectly fine to walk away from people who seek to humiliate you and bully you or put you on the spot in some way. Every question does not need an answer, and that does not make you rude. The person who's rude is the person who had the audacity to try to humiliate you like you were a clown in front of other people. So there's nothing wrong with leaving people speaking to themselves. I can't tell you how many times I just looked at somebody and it's like I'm giving them that, think about what you just said and then say it again. I want you to take a moment to think about what you just asked me. And you really have to have that mindset and that way about you. You are not for anybody's entertainment. I don't care how sordid your past was. I don't care what you did. If you are a woman who worked hard to redeem herself, to redeem your image, you changed your image, you better your ways, you're doing better now. Whatever you did 15, 25, 2 weeks ago doesn't matter. And nobody has the right to try to use your issues and the things you went through against you. But women who seek to humiliate, they love digging into somebody else's past to try to humiliate and clown them. And they will get a bunch of clownettes around them to co-sign on their clownery and their jealousy and their foolishness. And you don't have to fall into it. The other day I made a video about knowing how to read a room. And I made that video because many women are walking into events, walking into schools, walking around, being around people that don't even like them. But because they love the aesthetic of having a whole group of women around them, you surround yourself with a bunch of snakes. You surround yourself with a bunch of people who don't even like you. Somebody who can always and only, or the majority of the time, just pick out your flaws, what they perceive as a flaw, or pick out the things about you that are positive, but they put it down. Those are not kind of people you want to be around. I mean, some women make fun of other women for being in healthy relationships, especially if you're with a man who they could never get, especially if you're with somebody who loves you, adores you, and provides for you. You have jealous, envious women who spend all of their time attacking other women and then don't realize or understand why nobody wants them. See, when you are a woman who is well-rounded, you have your femininity, your spirituality. You are a woman who is comfortable with her body. You are a woman who is confident, easy to talk to, and you generally vibe with all people as long as they vibe with you. Jealous women will not like you, and they will seek to clown you at any moment. You could have a good job, and I've heard this, a woman making, I believe, almost 6 figures in the position that she's in the company that she's in, and I've heard somebody say, oh, you up there working with all them white folks now. Oh, you got a code switch now. She's making bank. Like, she's making a lot of money. She has a nice house, a nice car. Her children are beautiful. What is there to clown? But for a jealous woman who wants to find something in order to make herself feel better, she will look at anything and try to spin it to be a negative. Women like that, I just look at them like you must have some kind of mental deficiency, like some kind of mental defect. Like this woman has decent amount of money, I'm sure. Family is taken care of. She looks good. She feels good. You're a hater. And what's sad is that a lot of women don't even realize what they're doing. And I think it's because they were raised to clown other women. Women who seek to humiliate and they like to put other women on blast, as they say, that's a learned behavior. I think when they are around family members, especially the mother, aunties, cousins, who were always sitting in big circles to crucify another woman, to put down another woman, that is definitely learned behavior. And I know what I'm talking about because I have seen it where women will sit in a circle. They will make a weekend of berating and putting down other women. And these women are off living their lives, minding their business. And they are using this woman for entertainment. And on the flip side of that, as a woman who is the object, the subject of a jealous hater who seeks to humiliate you, I know it might sound weird, but you have to really look at that as if you are doing something great. You are doing something right. When somebody has to dig deep into the closet to try and find skeletons from you, and the skeletons might not even be there anymore. They might be deteriorated at this point. But a woman who is jealous and envious and seeks to humiliate another woman, she's going to find something. Even if she has to dig into your childhood and how you used to be. I had somebody who tried to use something from my childhood against me. Mind you, bear in mind, I am 39 years old now. And this person brought this up when I was maybe like 31, 32. And they brought up something that I did from when I was like 16 years old. I'm like, I am married with children. What are you talking about? I was in high school. This is like 11th to 10th grade. But haters do those kind of things. You just have to watch them. Don't confide in them. And you are not for anybody's entertainment. Don't let people clown you. Recognize when somebody is just trying to ask you a question because they want to make fun of the response. Be aware and have enough wisdom, discernment, and intuition to realize when women are inviting you to places just so you can be the object of their entertainment. You could be the object of their side eyeing. You could be the object or the subject for their little side conversations. Realize when they're using you for that purpose and kindly dismiss yourself or decline the invitation in the first place. Don't go into places where women do not like you and they want to just use you as a means or something to talk about. It took me a while to realize that. And you might wonder, why is it even like that? Because a lot of women are just straight up haters and bullies. I don't know what else to tell you. It's not really that deep. Some women are absolute haters and bullies of other women, especially women who are not as petty as them, women who are kind, women who are not hostile. When you are a woman who doesn't like say it with her chest, when you're not that kind of woman, when you're not a woman who is constantly looking for all the negative things in life and you actually love other women, when you're a girly girl in a way, and you don't have to be a girly girl to have haters and to have jealous people, but I say there's a certain type of woman who likes to humiliate other type of women. And it's typically the women who are not on that same petty level as them. The women who actually go to the party or go to the club to enjoy themselves. The women, we know, there are some women that go to enjoy themselves, and there are some women who go to pick apart other women. It's just a matter of what group you're in. And unfortunately, you have a lot of women who get joy if they can destroy or try to destroy another woman, and you don't ever want to fall victim to a hater and a jealous woman. And the only way you can do that is to realize when they say, as they say, a woman is playing in your face, and not be bothered with her. You are not for anybody's entertainment. Ladies, jealous, envious women are masters at disguising their dislike and their disgust for you. Jealous women are masters at faking as if they actually like you, as if they're actually wanting to be friends with you, as if they really want you involved in the things that they're doing. But a lot of women who are jealous, envious, bullies, have mean-spirited tendencies. They often like to get sweethearted women feminine women, kind women, genuine, authentic women who don't have that kind of hatery about them, they often like to get them involved in order to set them up for failure. See, jealous, envious women, they get joy out of seeing your downfall. And because of that, they will deliberately befriend a woman they do not like so that they can see her fall in some way, so that they can make her entertainment, so that they can make her the topic of their gossip when they're sitting around the people they actually like. And ladies, you have to be wise and know who's for you and who's against you. And that's where feminine discernment and where wisdom comes in. A lot of you are going out of town, taking these so-called girls trips with women who do not like you, or women that you barely know, and because you're friends with their friend, you go out of town with them. Because it's a friend of the family, you go out of town with them. And that's when you have the most worst experiences of your life. You do not need, and this is not wise, to go out of town, let alone go out of the state or the country with known jealous haters. A lot of women cannot handle being in an environment that, number one, they're not used to, meaning if a woman is accustomed to, you're dialing yourself up, you look good, you feel good, you're confident, and then you're out and about and you're getting attention from other people, you're genuinely enjoying yourself. A woman who is jealous of you, she is not going to be able to handle that. So you want to make sure that you know her before you go out of town with her. You want to make sure that you've had at least 5 interactions with this woman before you leave town. Because women like that will backstab you in your back and you won't even see it coming. Women like that, they watch you quietly. They have those kind of monitoring spirits, as they say, and they watch you from afar, seeing how you are. They admire you in a sick, sordid way, but it comes out as jealousy and envy. And when you're out in a place that you might not be familiar with, women who are jealous, envious, and bullies, they will take advantage of the fact that you depend on them for something. And these kind of things happen during those girls' trips. A lot of women have talked about how they have girls' trips from hell, where, they got into fights, where the women got jealous over them getting attention from men, where the women just right out left them in the hotel room and left the country, leaving them stranded, where they took their money, they took their, plane tickets. Women, we have to be wise and know who's for us and who's against us. Know who your real friends are. If you're going to take a girls trip, you want to make sure you're going out of town with somebody who has your back. You want to go out of town with someone who is closer to you than the person that you might not know. And me personally, I'm not going out of town with one person I know and then 15 other women that I don't know, unless it's some kind of work event and I know exactly where I'm going and I know exactly what I'm doing. But to go out of town with women who are jealous of you in your own neighborhood, who act shady towards you, who talk about you behind your back, your so-called friend is friends with somebody who doesn't like you. Think about that. You're going to take a girls trip with a woman you call a friend, and yet she's extremely close to a woman who cannot stand you. Make it make sense to me. As women, we have to get better at protecting ourselves and looking at the red flags and not being so eager to go wherever we're going, so eager that we go out of town with the devil. A lot of these women, they use that as an opportunity. They use that vulnerability in order to take advantage of your kindness, take advantage of the fact that you are sweet. You're overlooking all of the pettiness. You're overlooking all of the shadiness. And a lot of people, I've seen comments of women saying, this is like you're just paranoid or something. No, these things are happening. Women are being stranded. Women are being beat up. Women are losing their lives because they're going out of town, going away with snakes, because they are dealing with women who do not like them. And they're so sweet, they're so naive that they don't see the red flags. So when you go out of town with a woman who you might suspect might be a hater, make sure you're going somewhere that, number one, you are familiar with. Meaning, if you have to be around this woman, don't go to a place that you are not at least familiar with the city. You know how to get around well. you have your own money, you have access to all of your personal belongings, your passport, your IDs, your money, your plane ticket, all of that stuff you have on yourself. So that way, if that woman decides to act petty, act shady, and feels like she just want to leave you, you can still get around well. You don't want to be depending on a hater when you are out of town. And if you get any idea or any hint that a woman is starting to act funny towards you, and especially now if you're one-on-one with another person, you might be able to bear through it. But if you are a lone ranger, if you're by yourself as a woman around a whole group of women on some trip and they're doing things that you're not comfortable with, they're making you feel uncomfortable, excluding you from things, leaving you to be by yourself, that might be your sign to get up out of there. Because when people, and women are good for this, their energy tends to change depending, and not all women, that should go without saying, but I'm going to say it. A lot of women who are jealous and envious, their energy changes depending on who they're around. And a woman who is genuine, a woman who's authentic, a woman who truly is for you, her personality does not change according to who she's around. Her concern, her love for you, her care for you, the way she enjoys your company, that doesn't change depending on who she's around. And that is one of the number one ways you can tell a woman is, if anything, being inauthentic or fake, because she's one way around you and another way around other women. If she decides, when you all are together by yourself or alone with maybe one other person, and she's really close to you, talking, having a good time, and then all of a sudden another woman comes around or another group of women come around, and suddenly she can't talk to you that much. Suddenly she doesn't feel like she wants to really be around you like that. That woman is not a woman that you should be in close proximity with, and that is definitely not a woman that you should be going out of town with. True friends, true companions, true people who actually love you, care about you, or at least enjoy your company, they don't change up when they get around other people. They are still your friend when other people are around, and they are still your friend when people who don't like you, they're on your side. They're not getting in the middle of things. Now, I'm not saying that you might not have situations where, your friend has a friend that, you deal with them, you might not like them for some reason, but at least you're able to be, as they say, cordial. Your friend, if that person is always leaning on the side of the person who doesn't like you, and they're talking about you as well, you keep getting word that they're talking about you, believe it. See, a lot of women can spare themselves of a lot of these uncomfortable and sometimes harmful situations if they just believe what's in front of them. Stop looking at the person who doesn't like you, talking to somebody who was supposedly trying to include you in different things, but they're acting different around that person. They're excluding you. They're making you feel left out on purpose. They're doing things that allows you to, they want you to feel like you're not a part of the group. And honestly, this kind of thing, group mentality, bully tactics, jealousy and envious women, these little girl strips and friends groups, I really believe, and this is my opinion, that once you reach the age of 30, those kind of things really shouldn't matter that much to you. Nothing wrong with going on a trip with your friends. If you have good friends that you appreciate and you trust them, you feel like you can trust them, go out of town. But a lot of women are getting together, especially some of these younger women. A lot of this is for my 20-somethings, my late teens and 20-somethings. A lot of you are going out of town with women who don't really like you, but because you want to flex on them when you get to Miami, you want to flex on them when you get out here to Jamaica, when you get to the DR, when you get to wherever you're going, you want to flex on them and show them how you are and how you look and all of this stuff. And that same woman that you're doing these things to, she'll come after your life because she can't stand that. She can't handle that. A lot of these women seek after those who like to flex a lot because they are envious and jealous and miserable in their own lives. So a lot of women, and this is not to scare you out of taking girls trips, this is to make you aware and to make you really think about who you're about to get on your next flight with. And even some men. a lot of them are very much like agitators. So if you find yourself going on a trip with other couples and the wife might not like you, maybe you know them, the girlfriend doesn't like you like that, but you know the guy and they just thought it would be a good idea to take a couples trip, yeah, you have to watch that too. Because at the end of the day, a wife, a husband, they will always stand together for one another. And if you are going out of town, and especially, this is not wise, but I've seen it happen, you have people third wheeling it. You have a bunch of women going out of town with their friend and her man, which is weird. If you're doing those kind of things, don't ever think that that man is going to stand against his wife and take your side, especially when you're out of town. It's not going to happen. You might find yourself stranded or worse. So as a woman, just make sure you're reading the red flags of people when you're in your own town and not going out of town with the enemy, not going out of town with women who can't stand you right where you are, but you're going to go out of town with them. That's not wise. Ladies, if somebody gives you a bad feeling, and this is where your intuition comes into, a lot of women feel like it's a weakness to, follow their intuition. If something doesn't feel right, they just don't do it. God gave us that. I believe as women, God gave us that intuition, that way of just knowing, all people have this, but women have it to a heightened level. Having that intuition, or maybe the Spirit of God is telling you, this is not the person you should go out of town with. This is not the person you need to be around. You can talk to them here, but you're not that close. Understand and recognize when you're really not that close to somebody. And then when you recognize that, make sure you be a friend at that level. Stop trying to be close friends with acquaintances. Some women are too eager to be so close to women that they end up trying to fake be close to women who don't really like them. And then also, beware of the women who like to get you involved in things, but not have you involved in things. What do I mean by that? They might invite you to be a part of planning a party, planning an event. And every idea you give, they shoot it down automatically. They don't like your taste. They don't like your style, but they invited you to be a part of the planning and the event, all so they can talk about how bad your taste is, how bad you don't know how to decorate, how your clothes are this, you're that, your style is not that. It can have you looking like, so why am I here? Why did you want me to be a part of this if you don't like my opinions, if you don't like the advice I'm offering, if you don't like what I'm trying to do to help? I will tell you the reason why jealous, envious women do things like that. Because they want to use you for entertainment value only. When they invite you to be a part of something special, and you even have this in families, where a family member will offer to have you a part of something only so they can clown you. And as I have said in previous videos, ladies, you are not for anybody's entertainment. So you have to know, if she always has something negative to say about the positive ways you're trying to help. I'll give you a story real quick. And this wasn't in person, it was online. Me being the way I am, one of my old classmates, I don't really comment too much on Facebook and social medias, but this time I commented because she seemed like she was going through it. And she was like, I need something. She posted something to the effect, I need something to wind down. It's just too much going on. I feel like I'm losing my mind, something to that effect. And it was late at night, so I posted you should sip some chamomile tea, and if you have candles, light some candles. I put that in there. I'm offering something, I thought was good. So a few minutes later, I get the notification. She responded, and it says, they're laughing, and it says tea, green. It says chamomile tea, and all of these laughing emojis. And after that, another person commented green tea, chamomile tea, just laughing. What I said was just whatever, that's stupid, It was corny to them. And somebody came after that and said, yeah, you need some Hennessy and you need to smoke a whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. Mind you, this is social media. I was younger. Not that you have to be young to be your authentic self. But the point I'm making is that sometimes even when you offer up nice things to people, and, these people I went to school with, it's not a big deal. But it's the first thing that came to mind because it shows how even when you're trying to be helpful, that wasn't said in a joking way. I said that in all seriousness. But because they kind of have that more ghetto type mentality, like they gonna drink and smoke and things like that, I guess me telling them to sip tea really wasn't a thing. And now that I think back about it, I'm like, hey, it was funny. But things like that can happen with people who know you closely. They just don't like what you're offering. And instead of just being like, okay, you know, whatever, they just take it for what it is, disregard because they don't like it. They use that as an opportunity to clown you. And while the description I gave in the description I gave you, you know, that was something minor. Women do these kind of things in person when they absolutely know you. They will deliberately, now I walked into that one, that was online, but people will deliberately invite you to things in order to clown you on purpose, and you want to avoid those situations if at all possible, especially jealous, envious, toxic women and women with a bully mindset. They will invite you, include you, all so that you could be their entertainment. And as wise, confident, leveled up women, you do not have time to be around people who use you for their entertainment and look for ways to try to bring you down in some way. You have to understand that's right out of the hater's handbook. Their whole goal is to bring other people down to their level. And you, when you recognize it for what it is, you will not go on the girls' trips with your haters. You will not get involved in the events that they try to bait you and set you up to be, you know, to fail or be there, either be in some kind of drama or be in some kind of, you know, their entertainment. Like, we just don't do that. Do not avoid your discernment. Do not avoid your intuition. And if it doesn't feel right, don't go. Simple as that. Do not go to every place that you're invited to, especially when haters try to bait you into going somewhere when you know they don't necessarily care for you. Ladies, do not allow people, especially jealous, envious women, to set you up. That's what it comes down to. All right?